To you, Coach, for your opening comments.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate everybody hear me okay? Yeah. I appreciate the opportunity, Georgia Tech, for hosting this regional. They always do a good job, first class in everything they do. On behalf of our AD, who I see back there, Dr. John Easton, Kendra Green, our compliance coordinator, our president, Dr. Larry Robinson, we're happy to be in regional play. I know it may not have looked like it by the way we performed today, but you know, there's only 2 teams in the history of FAMU baseball that can say they have the right to be in a regional tournament. We're proud to say that we're one of those 2 teams. So, was not at all what I hoped for. If you're going to be frustrated, it was a very frustrating game for us as coaches and certainly for these young men beside me, these student athletes that do such a good job. It was very frustrating, but at the same time, if there is not a better place that I want to be frustrated than in a regional, NCAA regional tournament. So these guys have grinded all year. By no means are we out of this thing. We'll come back, I guarantee you. I know these kids too well. I know their heart. We'll come back and fight tomorrow. You know, we are in the, 6th, 7th inning, and we turn a double play ball. We have a 3-run ball game, and anything can happen in baseball, as we all know. So disappointed, frustrated. I shouldn't say disappointed, never disappointed when you're in a regional tournament. We're just happy to be here. And again, I hope you'll see, I think you'll see a different ball club tomorrow.
All right, we'll take questions to the student athletes. If you want to raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you. We'll start right here on the second row on the right side.
Kyle, I imagine the start wasn't what you're used to, certainly your numbers don't indicate that. Can you kind of describe what you were feeling and with your control in the first couple innings in particular?
The first few innings, the control wasn't there. Not as an excuse at all. First time being on a field like that with the atmosphere, just trying to calm my nerves and get through the innings. But after settling down and figuring out what I was doing wrong and just cruising after that, letting my team get a chance at the plate.
Let's go right back here, 4th row on the right side.
For any one of you, what's the team's mentality heading into tomorrow?
I mean, like Coach Shouppe said, obviously today was not what we expected, nor did we put our best plays on the field. But going back to the MEAC tournament, I mean, we were put in the same situation. Losers bracket early, 4 straight elimination games we had to win. So obviously we know that it can be done, and that's our mentality. I think we're one of the best teams in the country when it comes to bouncing back and winning the next day. That's been our mentality all year, and we've seen them get it done. So we're ready.
Let's go right here to the front row, the right, left side.
For coach or either the players, would you attribute the errors to some mental lapse, or was it any jitters that had to do with anything?
You know, it's first time for everybody on this club in an NCAA regional tournament, and probably first time, probably the biggest crowd most of you guys have played in front of in your career. I'm sure that had an effect. It always does. That's why you're fortunate. That's why you play your whole season to try to host this event, as Georgia Tech has. So I'm sure that had a definite bearing on it. We just came out a little bit too excited. You know, Coleman referred to that when he started the game the first couple of innings and then settled in very nicely. And as I said, once we weathered the storm a little bit, it was, going into the 7th inning, it was anybody's ball game until they get the 5 spot after what I felt like we should have been able to turn and get out of the inning. So, we gotta throw this. There's nothing good that you're gonna get out of this. We just have to throw it behind us and look forward to tomorrow.
Does that give you an extra sense of confidence that a nationally ranked team, number 3 in the nation, that you were within 3 runs late in the ball game?
Yeah, it does, obviously, but also it's there's the frustration because there's no do-overs in regional play. Credit to Georgia Tech, they took advantage of all the opportunities and made the most of it. I mean, heck, I think we walked 13 or 14 people today and made 5 errors. I think there's only 4 on the board, but there were 5. And just too much to come back from. We just got to learn from it tomorrow and be ready to go.
Anything else for the players? One right here.
Kyle, were you aware of your pitch count, and are you used to going that far into the to the pitch count?
I was not aware of my pitch count. I was not asking anyone for the number, and I am used to going that far. In the MEAC tournament, I threw a complete game. 2 days later, came back, threw another complete game. It's just whatever the team needs for them to get a win. I'm down to do it. And it's not really a question of my pitch count, it's how I'm feeling. So.
Thank you. Anything else for the student athletes? One last one right here.
Sam, I'm just curious, you guys, having gone through this now, do you feel like this is a team, if we get them again, we can beat?
Yes, I feel like we can beat them. I mean, we came out, we was nervous. I mean, next time we get them again, I feel like we'll do what we need to do.
All right, thanks guys, appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take questions for Coach Shouppe. If you want to raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you. We'll start right here on the front row.
Coach, you gave up one extra base hit in the game and gave up 13 runs. It's got to be very peculiar, just the way the errors kind of unfolded and the way you guys were so close to getting out of innings and being right in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the errors, but you also look at the walk. There were 13 or 14 walks, and you're not going to win many baseball games doing that. Let me go back to the pitch count question that was given. We talk about all the time during the season. Coleman used to get very frustrated at us when we come get him out of the ballgame when he was 95, 100 pitches. And you know, the saying we always said to him was, "It's not hero time." And MEAC tournament was hero time for him, so he threw a few more pitches today. Another, you know, felt like we were in the ball game, one at bat from making it a very close ball game. And I think he threw 128 pitches tonight, which is his most by far, by about 20, I think, this season. So yeah, he threw a few pitches. Yeah, we felt like it was hero time for him today. And he's a big, strong kid too. We would never do anything to jeopardize the health of a student athlete player, pitcher.
Go right here in the front row.
Coach, you've seen Coach Hall's, some of his teams earlier in your career. How would you compare this team with some of the teams you've seen before?
It's a different club, and I'll just be very honest with you. You know, selfishly, I would like to say that a guy recruited has something to do with that in James Ramsey, who's their third base coach now, that recruited at Florida State, became a first rounder coming to Florida State. You know, selfishly, I like to say that I'm sure there are more than one thing that leads to a club being as good offensively. And I think somebody said they had one extra base hit. That wasn't the story. The story was the at-bats they threw at us. They grinded out at-bats the whole game. I've never seen a Georgia Tech club do that. I'm sure his influence had something to do with that. You know, they got some good athletes. They got some. You know, there's plenty of power there too. That's very unusual for them to only get one extra base hit or two extra base hits during the course of the ball game. But it's a different ball club. Their on base percentage, when you look up and down their lineup, they got 7, 8 guys with over 400 on base percentage, high 400 on base percentage in their lineup. That's one thing as a coach through my years of experience. That's one thing I look at. I don't look at their batting average as much as I look at their on base percentage. You look at the number of times they walk and the hit by pitches they have compared to the strikeouts. When you see a team that has equal of those in those categories, then you know you're going to have to really pitch them close and pitch them. They're going to be hard to make easy outs on. They didn't make any quick outs. They had great at bats. That was the difference in the ball game, in my opinion.
Let's go right here next to him.
Coach, it was a sellout crowd here tonight, and there was a large chunk of FAMU fans that live here in Atlanta and those that came up from Tallahassee and other parts of Florida. Just your thoughts on that?
I was, you know, obviously frustrated again by the way we played, but at one point I heard a fan fuss in the stands about something. It's usually about the coaching, as you know. And it all, you know, I turned around to some of the guys. I just, in a joking manner, said, you know, there's no other place I'd rather be. Hear fans get on to you than in the NCAA regional tournament. So, as I said, and I told our players this, there's only been 2 teams that can say that they got beat by a good club in the NCAA regional tournament, and that's the 2015 club and this 2019 club. So, Rattler Nation turned out very well. Atlanta is a strong base for Rattler alumni and boosters. It was great to see some orange and greens in the fan. I just wish we would have given them something better to see. Hopefully they'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully we'll play a little bit better tomorrow as well. But yeah, the fans turned out. It was good to see, and I know it made our kids feel good.
Score here to the left.
Coach, what was Amos Willingham doing to keep you guys off
You know,
base?
he was throwing inside very, very well. You know, he especially early in the game, I thought that he had great command of the strike zone. He never got behind hitters, challenged the hitters. We had too many quick outs, something that, as I said, Georgia Tech didn't have. They took some very close pitches, and they knew what to do when the ball was in the strike zone. But he pitched well. He certainly pitched well. Pitched into the 6th or 7th inning tonight. So fastball command inside was I think the difference for us tonight. In the league we play in, the MEAC conference, you know, most of the guys throw away more than in. So we saw a few more fastballs tight than we've seen in previous games.
Last one right here on the left.
Hey, Coach. Got just kind of two questions, I guess. Did you watch the game earlier with Coastal Carolina? And did you watch that game? When watching them play, what are some things that your team does that you feel like you can take advantage of tomorrow?
You know, again, what we do usually is not what we did tonight. So I just hope our guys enjoy the moment. They come in, settle, play the game the way we're capable of playing. And if Coastal Carolina beats us, then they beat us. It won't be us letting them beat us or us beating ourselves. Coastal Carolina is a very good ball club. You know, we sat in the meeting the other day, and I looked around and I said, you know, there's only one team that has a national championship under their belt, and that's Coastal Carolina at this tournament. So they do a great job. They have a lot of left-handed bats. We don't have any left-handed. We have one left-handed guy in the bullpen. So it's going to be a challenge for us. Anytime you play teams of this caliber, it always is. But again, I just hope the right FAMU team shows up tomorrow, and I hope we have better representation of how we play the game and what our league's all about. You know, as I said, these guys have a lot of heart. I've said it numerous times. I knew that coming into the season. Rory will tell you, Chirac will tell you there with the local paper that, you know, we had 20-something students out of 35 on our roster have a 3.0 or better in the fall. We had, when Hurricane Michael hit, our kids really showed their heart in the amount of time and amount of supplies they donated to surrounding communities and all. So I knew the heart of this club was good. So I'm looking to see that really, you know, I'd like to see that tomorrow. I'd like to see these guys just enjoy the moment rather than press a little bit like they did today. Again, Georgia Tech had a lot to do with it because they're very talented. The crowd, the atmosphere had a lot to do with it because we haven't seen that before. All three of these guys to my left and our entire team, that's probably the most people they have ever played in front of them. Some it may be the most they ever do. So hopefully tomorrow it's a little more commonplace and we'll just settle in and play a little better baseball.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time. Good luck tomorrow.